Any coach who says he doesn't play to win is just a plain liar. That's how B.L. Miner opened the 1956 Shelbina Sports Banquet, his final season as head football coach of the Shelbina Indians. Beverly Leon Miner was born on September 27, 1911, on a farm near Newark, Missouri. He descended from a long line of Miner men named Beverly, a name he clearly didn't care for, as he went by BL or Leon for his entire life, and he spared future generations of Miner men by not passing it down. He was the third of 6 children, and while I don't know much about his early years, I do know that he played high school basketball. Each September, he and his classmates would suit up and play their games early in the season because they had no gymnasium and they had to play as soon as the school day let out because there were no lights on the court. With an adult height of 5'9", basketball was not Leon's calling, but teaching was. He hitchhiked to Kirksville State Teachers College at the onset of the Great Depression. Even though there is no evidence that he excelled at high school basketball, he still had an interest in sports and decided to walk on to the college football team coached by Don Farrow. Yes, that Don Farrow. Leon probably never made it past the practice squad, but his connection with Farrow would become very important 15 years later in life. Leon's journey to a teaching degree wasn't a straightforward path. He was called back to the farm multiple times during the Depression and was listed as a junior in the 1938 college yearbook at age 26. But he finally graduated and began his teaching career in several country schools in northeast Missouri before finding himself as the superintendent of the Clifton Hill School District in Randolph County. In 1938, he married Fleta Schofstall of Shelbyville, Missouri. Leon stayed 1 more year at Clifton Hill and then enrolled in additional classes at Hannibal LaGrange while also working as the principal of the LaGrange School District. During the summer of 1940, before classes began, Leon worked on the crew that built the first dormitories at HLG. He worked in exchange for tuition for his classes. The Corps of Engineers were working on the lock and dam at Saverton, and a worker fell in the river and never came up. The Corps was looking for someone in Hannibal who had a boat, and the president of HLG offered his and asked Leon to pilot the boat and the diver downriver. The diver wasn't down long when he popped up and said, "Nope, we're not going to find that body." After questioning by the Corps officials, the diver admitted that he had found something, a catfish with an eyeball that was as big as his face. According to the diver, when the catfish opened its mouth, it could have swallowed a cow whole. The worker's body was never found. And that might only be a tale that grandfathers tell their grandsons, but it's one that I've remembered for over 40 years. By 1943, Leon took the position of coach at Shelbina, Missouri. He coached every sport in the school: football, boys and girls basketball, baseball, and boys and girls track. As far as I know, Leon had never coached at any of his previous schools, and when he arrived in Shelbina, he had only a few weeks to prepare for his coaching debut against McCooey Catholic High School in Hannibal. His first season ended with a 2-6 record, but both wins were against Palmyra. So I'd say that's a heck of a good start. After he coached the girls and boys basketball teams, the baseball team, and the boys and girls track team, he must have spent a lot of time in the offseason studying football because his 1944 team went 5-2. But the 1945 season was his breakout year. Don Farrow had transferred from Kirksville to Mizzou in 1935 and was the football coach and athletic director for the better part of the next 3 decades, only taking a break to serve in World War II. The end of Farrow's World War II service coincided with the Shelbina Indians' 1945 season. He couldn't return to Mizzou until the following year, so he spent quite a bit of time in Shelbina helping Coach Miner draw up plays. Before Farrow unleashed the wing T offense on Ohio State University in 1946, the Shelbina Indians ran it to perfection in 1945. Finishing the season 8-0 and outscoring their opponents 245-39. Years later, after the Shelbina High School Sports Hall of Fame ceremony, I was approached by Coach Gene Bartow, yes, that Coach Gene Bartow, who told me that Don Farrow may be credited with inventing the wing T offense, but it was born in Shelbina. In October 1944, representatives of 5 area schools, including B.L. Minor from Shelbina, met in Monroe City to discuss forming an athletic conference for the purpose of normalizing the upcoming basketball season. And 81 years later, we still have the Clarence Cannon Conference. In 1946, BL began teaching math classes in addition to physical education and coaching. In 1951, he received his master's degree in physical education from the University of Missouri. In 1954, B.L. Minor was named the principal at Shelbina High School. That year, he gave up his basketball coaching duties with the arrival of Gene Bartow. However, he still coached football for 3 more years. He stepped down from coaching in 1956 with 78 wins, 35 losses, and 6 ties, including 3 undefeated seasons. Over 14 seasons of coaching, his teams faced Palmyra more than any other time, and he went 12-3 against them. That alone makes a great career. After coaching, BL began his high school football referee career that lasted nearly 30 years. By 1963, the school boards in Shelbina and Clarence voted to consolidate. Administrators at both schools were asked to resign and reapply for their positions, as South Shelby would only need half of the current administrators from the 2 schools. Beal had been the principal in Shelbina for 10 years at this point, and he refused to apply for a job that he felt like he already had. The school board dismissed him, and he became the junior high principal in Monroe City, a position he held until his retirement in 1975. Former Monroe City basketball coach David Almany has written extensively about the segregated Monroe City, Washington school. In one of his blogs, he interviewed individuals who were moved from the Washington school to the public school in 1965. One of those students, Howard Pruitt, who was in 7th grade for the first time he sat in a classroom with white students, made the statement, "I remember our junior high principal, Mr. Minor, that first year, went well out of his way to make us feel welcome, to check on us and see how we were doing." For me, I don't think that my grandfather's coaching career, teaching career, administrative career, referee career, or anything he did in his retirement make me as proud as that statement. And it's a lot to live up to as his grandson. Following his retirement, he served as the president of the Missouri State High School Activities Association and helped introduce the televised coverage of Missouri High School State Championships. He continued to officiate high school football and later evaluated football officials for both MISHA and the NCAA. He also worked as a carpenter, painter, taught local GED classes, and served on the Monroe City Library Board. B.L. and Fleta had 3 sons and 7 grandchildren. After the death of Fleta in 1981, B.L. began teaching his grandchildren about the importance of academics and athletics. Or maybe it was athletics and academics, I don't really recall. He passed away in his recliner on April 13, 1995 at the age of 84. He had just finished push mowing his yard 2 weeks after quadruple bypass surgery. B.L. Minor lived with purpose. He believed in education, effort, fairness, and doing things the right way. I do my best to carry his legacy with me, not just his name, but the standard he set. Thank you for honoring him with me today.